This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. How can you free up your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders to not only streamline purchasing, but better support their teams so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more about the technology, insights, and support available at amazonbusiness.com.
Summer's here, and Nordstrom has everything you need for your best dress season ever. From beach days and weddings to weekend getaways and your everyday wardrobe. Discover stylish options under $100 from tons of your favorite brands like Mango, Skims, Princess Polly, and Madewell. It's easy too with free shipping and free returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today in stores, online at Nordstrom.com, or download the Nordstrom app.
Welcome back to our Sunday bonus episode, where I share an article with you from a different podcast in our network to keep your life nice and optimized. Today's episode comes from Optimal Health Daily. You can find that show wherever you're listening to this. So with that, here's Dr. Neil with the post and commentary as we optimize your life.
Why You Can't Eat Healthier by Babauta of zenhabits.net. Most people have a hard time moving to a healthier diet, and they don't understand what's going on. I was one of those people. 70 pounds heavier and addicted to junk food, I would often tell myself that I'm going to start a diet and even buy a bunch of new food, only to find myself snacking on chips, grande lattes, cookies, french fries, and more after a few days. Why? Because I used those foods to meet many of my needs, and taking the food away meant I had no way of dealing with some difficult things. Food is a coping mechanism for many people, and to change our eating habits, we need new ways of coping. Here are some examples of how we use food to cope. We eat when we're stressed. If you change to a healthier diet, how will you cope with stress instead? You need new stress coping strategies. We also eat when we're sad or depressed. So how can we learn to cope with these emotions in a healthier way? We often eat as a reward when we've done something good. So what will we do to reward ourselves instead? We eat to socialize. How will we socialize then without food? We eat because we're bored. What new coping mechanism will we use for boredom instead? We eat because we're angry. When we get in a fight, how will we deal with our anger instead of using food? We eat for pleasure. Are there healthier ways to find pleasure instead of using food? And we eat for love. We often equate food with love. Our moms might have given us food lovingly as kids, or our partners used it to romance us, and so eating becomes a substitute for love. Where will we find love instead? All of these and more are real needs. We all need love and pleasure and rewards, and ways of dealing with stress, boredom, sadness, loneliness, anger, and frustration. For many of us, food has become the default way of meeting all of those needs, and we can't just take away the food without finding a healthier replacement. If we do, we'll fall back into our old habits quickly. It has taken me years to figure this out and to slowly build new, healthier habits to deal with all of these needs. But I can honestly say I've done it, and it is possible. Do I still think about food when I'm lonely or sad or stressed? Sure. But now I have consciously built up some replacement coping mechanisms that work better for me, and I'm much healthier, leaner, and fitter as a result. Some things that have worked for me. Your mileage will vary. 1. Exercise. This is a great way to deal with stress, boredom, and anger. After a while, a run can also be pleasurable and a reward. 2. Meditation. This is an excellent way to deal with all of our emotions. 3. Tea. Also great for stress, boredom, and anger, but for me, a great reward and a source of pleasure. 4. People. I've learned to get my love from friends and family and to use them as ways of dealing with my tougher emotions by talking with them, working out with them, or simply spending time with them. 5. Cleaning. Decluttering, mindful sweeping, mindful wiping things down with a rag. These are great ways to mindfully deal with stress, boredom, and anger. And 6. Solitude. I found solitude a great way to deal with tougher emotions because you learn to work out your problems instead of avoiding them by eating food. And solitude can be used as a reward as well. These are just a few ideas, and what works best for you will be highly personal. The idea is to figure out what you'll do beforehand before the need arises, or it'll be too late. And then learn to be aware of these emotional triggers as they happen. When they do happen, very consciously do the new habit instead of the old. It'll take a while to form the new habit, especially as you'll probably forget sometimes. But just remember my mantra. We're all learning. And have patience with yourself. Food has become so many things to us as individual people and as a society. It's how we socialize, celebrate holidays, watch sports, show love, find comfort, deal with pain. And yet that's not always healthy. We're getting fatter and fatter because of this addiction. And it's time we rethink our main strategy for coping and loving. I should also note that the tips I shared with you could be used for other addictions like biting your nails, smoking, drug use, alcohol abuse, etc. We tend to use these behaviors as crutches to cope with our needs. And to beat them, we need to find healthier methods of coping and meeting our needs. You just listened to the post titled, Why You Can't Eat Healthier by Leo Babauta of zenhabits.net.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. If you're like me, you might be considering getting a new iPhone. But have you considered upgrading your credit card? When you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay or the laser-etched titanium Apple Card, you can earn unlimited 3% daily cash back on everything you buy from Apple, whether it's a new iPhone, an iPhone case, or even a service like Apple Music or Apple TV Plus. Earning 3% back on the Apple products and services you love? It's an easy decision. You'll only wonder why you weren't doing it sooner. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com. Imagine you're a business owner who has to rely on a dozen different software programs to run your company, none of which are connected. And each one is more expensive and more complicated than the last. It can be pretty stressful. Now imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one simple, easy-to-use platform, giving you peace of mind that your business is always being taken care of from every angle. Odoo has user-friendly, open-source applications for everything. We're talking CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and everything in between. Basically, if your business needs it, Odoo's got it. Odoo sounds pretty amazing, right? So stop wasting your time and money on those expensive, disconnected platforms and let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. It doesn't get much better than that. So what are you waiting for? Discover how Odoo can take your business to the next level by visiting odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Hey, it's Dr. Neil again. I agree with a lot of what Leo said. When I've talked about food cravings, for example, I use the same kind of techniques. I've said try and distract yourself with something pleasurable that makes you happy instead of, let's say, getting that soda or getting that drink of alcohol. Find a way to bring yourself some happiness that's not related to that snack or food that you're craving. And if you can distract yourself with something pleasurable for 5 to 10 minutes, chances are that craving will pass. But the trick is, you have to know what you're going to do to distract yourself before that craving occurs. And that's what Leo was mentioning. You kind of have to have a plan going forward. I often use the example of playing on your cell phone as one of those ways to curb cravings. But the problem is if you're also addicted to your phone, let's say, well, then you're just substituting potentially one craving for another. For me, I'm not married to my phone. So for me, if I get a craving, in fact, I've been obsessed with non-alcoholic ginger beer lately, I will pick up my phone and play a game of solitaire or Tetris instead and realize that, yes, sure enough, my craving has passed and now I don't want that non-alcoholic ginger beer anymore. So for me, that works. And Leo said, again, this is highly personal. You have to find what's going to work for you. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's just sitting in silence and meditating. Maybe it's listening to some music. Whatever it is, it's got to make you happy. It's got to bring that same kind of level of pleasure. Otherwise, it may not work. Oh, and don't feel like you need to start all of these things at once. Leo gave us 6 tips. Just try one tip. See how that goes. If it doesn't work, try a different one. It's okay. All right, that's enough out of me. I will be back here tomorrow for our usual Friday Q&A show, so definitely stay tuned for that. We're your optimal life. awaits.